and welcome to today's Speedbuild. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us, and if not, then welcome back. So today I am super excited because we're building in the new world of Nordhaven, and if you do not know, this is the world that we recently got with the new Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack. Now, I firstly just want to deeply apologize. I am so sorry that it has taken me so long to upload a video with this new pack. I believe the pack came out like a week ago. In fact, I think it was longer than a week ago. I think it was maybe like coming up to 2 weeks ago. But I have just been so busy with other projects and I just completely neglected doing this build, and I am so sorry for that because I am obsessed with how this build came out. Now, I will get into that a little bit more, but yeah, I have just been so busy with doing some other projects and getting some other videos out for you guys, such as I'm still doing some of my save file at the moment. I am also still doing my every home is a different shape in the Sims 4 series, so I've been trying to do some more recording and editing for that as well. So I've just been very kind of behind with this pack, and I want to apologize, but I am here now and I am building, and I am obsessed with how this build came out. Now, if you do not know, if you're unsure of, kind of this new world and this new pack and what it entails, allow me to let you know. So this is something that we've been wanting in The Sims for a very long time. I know myself, I have wanted this for a very long time. I have built a lot of builds that have been multifunctioning. Quotation marks around multifunctioning, because that is not something that previously was available in The Sims 4. But now with this new expansion pack, it is now something that works functionally, and you can actually play the game with multifunctioning lots. And it feels so crazy to say that because I feel like we've been asking for this for a lifetime, but we finally have it. So I am so excited. I'm so excited for my builds that I've made in the past to now function. If you don't know, I've made several builds before which have had bars and cafes and apartments, etc., all on the one lot, and they weren't able to function. But now that is something that does work. And for today, I decided that I wanted to do some multifunctioning, kind of like, I don't know, buildings. Like, I will explain. I decided to go for a tattoo parlor and a pottery studio, and not only that, but above these there is apartments which I intend to be for the people that own these businesses, and I will get into that dynamic and talk a little bit about it once we get more to the inside. But I do just want to start by saying I'm not too sure if the apartments are functional. By that I mean, I think that you can have the multifunctional lots work completely fine. That is the whole point in the pack. But I don't know if you can have apartments that also function on the same lot. So that's something that I'm going to have to look into. I've seen a few people saying that it wasn't a functional thing, so I'm not 100% sure. But this build that I made, it does have apartments above it, so just keep that in mind if you're wanting to download it. But I thought that it was just really cool to have the multifunctioning ability and then also just put apartments above it. I thought it looked really cute. So hopefully, whether it functions or not, hopefully you still really like it. But yeah, one thing I know for certain is that the two lots on the bottom, again the tattoo studio and the pottery studio, they should function completely fine. Now, just to let you know, there is other building types that we got with this. I believe we got like art galleries, music lessons you can do as well. There's also pet cafes and like daycares, and there's also in-home daycares for like kids, I presume. But the reason I say kids is because I think you can also have daycares for animals, so I thought I would specify. But If you don't know, for the longest time, I have been wanting to build like a daycare / nursery in The Sims 4, and I really want to build that. So I am really hoping to get a video like that out very soon. I'm gonna have to have a little look into the pack because I know that you can have at-home daycares, but I'm not 100% sure if you can have like nursery buildings. I'm not too sure if that's something that will function, so I'm gonna have to have a little look into that, see how it works, see if there's anything that I need to kind of keep in mind. But for these lots that I did today, I decided that these would probably be the easiest just because I know that they're gonna function. So yeah, hopefully you like this one. I'm really excited to hear what you think. Now, as I was saying, I did decide to do kind of like the tattoo studio, the pottery studio, and I also put apartments above. Now, the apartments belong to the people that own the studios. So in one of them, we have 2 people living in it, and in the other one we have a single sim. So for the tattoo studio, which we should be moving on to very shortly, we end up having what I imagine to be like a female sim, and she has built up her business to the point that she now has people kind of like renting out tables. So she ends up having, I believe, is it three tattooing areas within her studio. So I was thinking that if you wanted to play with this, you could have it so that your sim maybe doesn't necessarily own the business, unless you wanted to play with that dynamic. That would be really cool as well. But I was thinking maybe they don't necessarily own it, but they rent out a table within this business, and the woman that owns it, the one that lives above, she just like rents it out to you, and then any profit that you make from your tattoos, of course, you get to keep, and all you have to do is pay her the kind of like renting fee. I thought that made a lot of sense. I really like the idea of that. By the way, you will see me switch up the color scheme to these builds very soon. I just thought I would mention it now that I'm doing the roofing. But yeah, I thought that would be really cool, so that's what I was thinking. Now for the pottery studio, I decided to go for a little bit of a different dynamic, and that ends up belonging to 2 older sims. I was thinking husband and wife, and they love doing pottery like so much. I think that the guy actually showed his wife how to do pottery, and she has loved it ever since, and now she's kind of like, she's low-key like a little bit better than him. I think she's better at the painting side of things. She's better at kind of, you know, coming up with designs, whereas he's better at actually molding the shapes. And I feel like they work as such a good duo. So he kind of shows how to create the shapes, and she shows how to paint them and how to glaze them and things like that. So you will see when I move on to the apartments, but they end up having like a little just a single bedroom with like this very cute little old, I don't want to say old, but like older looking apartment. It's very kind of like old-fashioned, shall I say, like old-timey. I don't know, it's very sweet. We got some really nice wallpaper with this new pack, and I felt like it was such the perfect opportunity to use it. But you will see that once we move on to the inside. For the other apartment, for the tattooist, it ends up being the complete opposite dynamic. So her apartment is a little bit bigger actually. Even though she's a single sim, it ends up being a bigger apartment, but I think it works really well. When we move on, you'll kind of see, but she ends up having a much darker vibe. The couple, they have a very boho bright vibe. It's very honey woods. It's really cute and simple and bright, whereas the tattooist, she has a much darker vibe, and I love both of them so much. They both turned out really nice. I do think that the Tattooist, her studio, has more of a like boho kind of vibe to it, but it's definitely on that darker color scheme. Whereas, yeah, the older couple, they have a much lighter color scheme. But you will see that. I'm so excited for you to see it because I think it turned out really sweet. Now, we did get a lot of really fun decorative pieces. We got these new bikes, as you can see. I love these so much. They have the little baskets, which is just adorable. We got some new signs. We got these really cute lights, and oh my gosh, I used so much lights for all of these builds. I just think they look incredible. And yeah, I just used a lot of decoration pieces for these buildings. I'll be honest, like, I feel like this build was, I don't know how to explain it. It was, I don't know if I want to say like easy to do, but I felt so in my element doing it, if that makes sense. At first I was really overthinking it, and I was like, okay, I'm not really sure if I'm confident with the architecture. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna make this look great. You know, I was kind of struggling, but then I kind of just let myself go with the decorations, and I was like, let's just put this in, let's add a little bit of this. And the more I did that, the more I got really, really comfortable with everything, and I'm so happy with how this turned out. Like, honestly, I cannot explain it enough. I'm really happy with it. But we're starting off with the tattoo parlor. So that is this space right here. Now, I do end up adding a bathroom to both of these units, and then there's also bathrooms on the upstairs. So I'll just say right now that I did not section off anything myself. I felt like the game was a little bit laggy when I had like the sectioning command on, and I also felt like the lines were a little bit annoying when I was building, and I didn't want them to be in the footage. So I ended up changing this to residential just while I built. So none of the areas were changed by me, but you can make spaces. So you can make a residential area, and you can also make like oh, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, if you can have a residential area, then surely you should be able to have apartments and like shops on one lot, right? Maybe I should look it up just so I'm aware. But yeah, what I was going to say is you can have like employee only zones, you can have residential zones, and then you can have, I think, like private zones possibly, or maybe like public zones or something. So you can have all these different areas where Sims can wait, or Sims maybe can't go, but employees can. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. You might want to make these bathrooms so that they're staff only. You might want to have it so that they're for everyone, just so obviously Sims are not having accidents within the area. I know that that's something that The Sims likes to do, just make everything difficult. Like, you know, Sims in community lots, they want to make things difficult. They want to just pee themselves or stand in really long queues or just get in the way. So yeah, I know it all too well. But yeah, there is like areas that you can now locate to certain things. So just to keep that in mind, you might want to make it so that the apartments above are separate. That's what I would do anyways, just to make sure that, you know, Sims aren't wandering up there when they shouldn't be. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about decorating the inside of this place. So as you can see, there ends up being at the moment 2 areas for tattooing, but there actually ends up being 3 because I realized that we had more than enough space for 3, and I really loved creating the little tattoo areas. I felt like they looked so sweet, and I just got really carried away, and I was like, we need another one. I added plenty of seating space. I originally, oh sorry, my voice just let itself go there, but I originally created one little space, and then I was like, okay, you're probably gonna have this problem with Sims piling up and standing in awkward places, so I do end up adding plenty more seating, which I thought was probably ideal for a build like this, because again, community lot Sims, they don't really mix too well, so I figured I would help out a little bit there. I also ended up adding this statue which has tattoos on it. How cool is that? So it's just like a normal looking statue, and then she's got tattoos. There is plain swatches of this as well, by the way, so if you're ever wanting to make different types of builds and you want to have a really cool statue, you can actually use that one and just use the swatches that don't have tattoos on them, which I thought was really cool because in my opinion, when we're buying things like packs, it's important, of course, for the pack to correspond with what it is. So in this instance, it makes sense that it would be a woman with tattoos. However, I think something that's very important is that things are versatile and that you can use them in multiple scenarios and circumstances. So for this case, you could use that, for literally several other types of builds. And I feel like that's something that I always try and think about when I'm buying packs. I'm like, okay, is that something that I could use for other types of builds? And a lot of the times it is. But yeah, I always find it nice when they kind of keep things like that in mind. It just feels really nice. It kind of makes us feel like we're heard, like they're listening and they're like, okay, like we can definitely do that. Like, I don't know, I just think it's really nice, but I thought I would mention it. But yeah, here is me doing the bathroom. So I do show me decorating the bathrooms. I thought I may as well. They have quite nice vibes to them, so I thought I may as well include them. By the way, I feel like I should apologize. This is a bit of a longer video. I didn't realize it would be, but I think because I did decorate like 2 units and also 2 apartments, it does make quite a bit of sense. Now you can probably tell, but the tattoo parlor is bigger than the pottery studio. This honestly turned out so well. I feel like the spaces work so well for what they are, and even when we move on to like the upstairs and the apartments, they still work really, really nicely. So I'm really happy with that. If you do want to move anything around, please feel free. I absolutely do not mind that. I love if you want to download my builds. I really, really don't mind if you want to change anything. I actually would love to see what you do with this space. But here is me finally adding that extra little like tattooing station, which I thought just made all the difference in the world. It looks so much nicer, and of course I love clutter, so having this space be free it didn't work in my eyes. I was like, no, I can't have this space be free. Like, I need to add things. But anyway, here's me moving on to the pottery studio, and this was a little bit harder because I've never seen a pottery studio. Actually, that's a lie. I used to go to this place when I was younger with my mum. And what it was is it wasn't so much pottery, but they had these like, oh, what is that called, like porcelain structures. So they had like maybe cups, they had like ornaments, they had things like little like bears, they had like, lots of different shapes, like piggy banks, things like that. And what you did was you painted them, and then you got them glazed, and then they would like glaze them over, and they would come out so nice and shiny, and it was so fun. I remember the smell so distinctly. Sadly, that place is shut down now and it doesn't exist, which makes me so sad because honestly I'd love to go there now. Like, me and my mum loved it. I remember we made my gran like a teapot and like teacup, and my gran loved it. She did end up smashing the mug. She said it did not bounce like her other mugs do. And I mean, I remember I was like, oh my gosh. But she loved the teapot so much. She took such good care of that, I think, when she realized how delicate they were. But yeah, we used to go to this place and it was so lovely. It just reminded me so much of this like pack. When I was building, this pack reminded me so much of going there. And so yeah, that's the only kind of memory I had that could kind of help me with this build. But I did go into Pinterest and have a look at a few things, and I did see some photos of like, I don't know, kind of like pottery studios that exist in the real world that, yeah, kind of helped me out a little bit. Now, I will say I took a lot of creative liberties, like putting this tree in the middle of the room. Very random, but I included it. I don't know. it just looked cool. I do end up adding it on a higher up structure, so you will see that, but yeah, there was a lot of creative liberties, so if anything doesn't make sense, that is most likely why. I don't think this is necessarily like a super accurate build, but honestly, I love how it turned out. Again, I love the woods that I used. I'm so obsessed with the new pieces that we got. Oh, and by the way, I completely forgot to say, I am using so much in this build. I end up using so much of the artist kit. Now, these two kit, or this pack and this kit go together amazingly. So I end up using the Businesses and Hobbies pack, of course, for all of the pottery stuff, and then I end up using the artistry kit for all of like extra details. Like I add an easel, I add some like aprons and things, and honestly it just made this build look 10 times better. So I definitely recommend using that pack if you're kind of struggling with cluttering this up. But something else I wanted to mention, so you can see at the front door I've added this like kind of tablet thing, and I've also added it to the tattoo parlor as well. Now the reason for this is because if your Sims enter this space, they actually give you money. So even if they don't use the sorry, my brain, even if they don't use any of the material, or if they don't use any of the resources or anything that you're offering, they still have to pay because they're entering the building, so they still have a fee. Now, I do believe the higher this is, like the less likely they are to come in, so I think that's something to keep in mind. Just that you probably want to be a little bit, I don't know, generous with the pricing, just so that Sims do want to come into the building. But I assume once your business kind of grows and gets a little bit more popular, possibly, you can probably up it and the Sims won't bat an eye. But yeah, something I thought I should mention. Now, this is something that I'm unsure about. I'm obviously talking about if you want to rent out and if you're wanting to use any of these. If you're actually wanting to play as the owner instead, and you're wanting to actually play as like the person owning this business, which I feel like most people will be, I'm unsure on if like this business would just be yourself running it, and if you would have to run it for quite a while before you could actually get people to what's it called, like work here for you, if that makes sense. Because yeah, as I was talking about with the tattoo parlor, there's free beds and you could rent one out, but realistically, if you're wanting to be the owner, you might not have people that are wanting to rent your space out. So yeah, I am a little bit unsure on how that works. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not completely clued up on the pack yet, which I'm definitely going to have a little look into. But if you do have any idea how it kind of works, please let me know. I would love to hear it in the comments. I love when you guys tell me things, because I'm always like, oh my gosh, that is great to know. And you always tell me things that I had no idea about. So you guys are so helpful, honestly. Like, I know I can look it up and things, but I feel like I'm better to watch like videos as well, because I think at the moment there's not going to be too much on the internet explaining it, although it probably will say it online somewhere on like the EA website. But yeah, I am unsure at the time of filming this. I am not too sure. So I just thought I would say that. But anyway, we're doing the bathroom. So again, this is the bathroom for this space. There is like a bathroom in both spaces, just because of course if any Sims are wanting to use the bathroom, I didn't want them to have to like go outside or go to like a kind of outer like exterior building, and I didn't want them to have to go into the other business to pee, so that is why there is one in each. But we're finally moving on to the apartments. So I started off by building the little staircases. I did have a little bit of trouble, not with the staircase itself, but I couldn't add railings to one of them. It just was not working. I had to like pull it out, put railings on it, and then put it back. It was really, really odd. But yeah, I managed to get it to work eventually. But yeah, these are how you get to the to the apartment levels. There does end up being minimal decor back here, just like trash cans and things like that. I did try and add like plants and greenery, but it just didn't look the way that I wanted it to. But yeah, I believe we're moving on to the apartments very soon. I'm so excited to get into them because I feel like they turned out so nice. Oh, something I've not even mentioned. I believe the second floor is medium wall height. The reason I'm saying second floor is because I think the first floor is normal wall height, but I know that this one is definitely medium. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wait, is the first floor? I think the first floor is normal wall height, but now I'm second guessing myself. But yeah, I honestly think even though there is a taller wall height in here, it still ended up looking really nice. You'll have to let me know. I feel like that's, I don't know. It's kind of like it changes depending on what the building is like. When it comes to things like city living, I really struggle with the tall wall height, but some of my favorite apartments have the tall wall height. So I don't know. I feel like it really depends. It depends what you're building and what the vibe is. But I felt like it worked for these. And for the exterior, I felt like it was kind of necessary that I had to have them look like this. But yeah. Oh, something I've not even mentioned. We got some new flooring, which you've probably noticed, but I've used it in like every single area of this build. We got new flooring. I love this flooring. I'm sorry, but this is going to be an absolute staple. Like, you're not going to be able to get rid of it from me. You're not going to be able to take it off of me, is what I meant to say there. It's going to end up being in like all my family houses. I feel like it's such a nice flooring. I love it so much. But yeah, we are now doing the apartment. So this is the Tattooist apartment, and as I was saying, I was thinking like a girl, I think that she's maybe like 34. That's the age I had in mind. I think that she has been tattooing for quite a while. Like, she is really good at it. I feel like she's always kind of had a knack for it. She kind of woke up and she like knew how to tattoo, you know what I mean? I think that she would hang out with her friends, and I think that they had like one of those kind of dodgy tattooing kits, and she was like, yo, like, let me do a tattoo on you. And she ended up doing one on her friend that actually ended up really good. But yeah, she's obviously improved a lot since then, and she is self-taught, and I think that she's just absolutely amazing at tattooing. And yeah, she now owns her own studio. There's people that rent out to her, and she's doing really well. She's really successful. I thought that was such a nice storyline for her. And this is her lovely apartment. It is such a good size, especially for one sim. You could definitely expand this as well. And yeah, I just feel like it ended up really nice. Now, something I want to address: she doesn't have a living room, which is going to sound crazy, but she doesn't have a living room. Oh, I added these signs, just thought I would say real quick, because I believe when you open up the business, you put the little on sign on, and then people come in, and then, you know, when you're closed, you just turn it around and then Sims stop coming in. I just thought I'd mention that. But yeah, she doesn't actually have like a formal living space, so she ends up having a TV, she does end up having seating, but she doesn't so much have a living room. But honestly, I'm going to be honest, I love this build regardless. I kind of built this one late at night, so I think my brain was not fully thinking. I just completely forgot that a living room was a thing. But honestly, I think it turned out really nice anyway. Hopefully you agree and you're not like, where is the living room, girl? There isn't one, but it works out. Trust me. Trust the process, guys. It works out. But anyway, we end up moving on to, I think, the bedroom pretty soon. So her bedroom ends up being super cute. I went for like kind of, what is the word? I went for very, oh, now I can't think of the word. Oh, that's really gonna annoy me. I went for kind of like gemologist, I guess we could use the word gemologist vibes. Like she has, how do I put this? I feel like she's very into like crystals and things like gemology, but she's very into that kind of stuff. I feel like she loves that kind of stuff. I think she's a very like zen, like mellow person. I think she's just so chill. Like I think she's honestly just like maybe like slightly stereotypical, like female tattooist. I don't know. I just think that she is such a big vibe, and she just, you'll notice it when we get to her bedroom, but she's just such a straight up vibe, and I really love it. I had like, you know, I had like this girl with like long black hair in mind. I feel like very generic, stereotypical, but honestly I just loved the dynamic. I loved the way it sounded. I thought it was really sweet. I also love the idea that possibly her dad helped her out with this business. I don't think that he maybe necessarily can tattoo, but I like to think that he maybe helped her with like setting it up and getting it all sorted. I think that he's very into like business, and he just like really wanted to see his little girl achieve her dreams. And so I think that she honestly opened up this tattoo shop when she was possibly like 19 or 20. So she's been in business for a while, you know, like 14, 15 years. And she's doing so well for herself, and with a lot of thanks to her dad, but also thanks to herself, because she is literally like so talented. Now, this is her bedroom. Finally, we moved on to to her room. I think this room just like gets across who she is as a person. It's so sweet. She has a TV in her room. She does have a TV in the like living room, again quotation marks around living room, because we're doing it now. This is when I kind of realized she did not have one, and you can see what I mean. Like, she's got a TV, she's got some seating, but she doesn't have a living room. But honestly, I think that when people come over, they do not care. Like, she has a very clean apartment. Her apartment is so cute, and she has a lot of space as well, so I think that people honestly do not mind. They would be so happy like sitting in the kitchen, sitting at the dining table, like even just sitting in her bedroom. So yeah, I don't think it matters too much. She does also have a bit of a bigger, it's slightly bigger than the ones I normally go for, so I thought that was really nice as well. I love when I do things kind of different from my usual, because I realize, oh wait, I just do the same things because I'm so comfortable, but actually I don't need to do the same things all the time. It's always so like eye-opening when I realize that. Also, I'm sorry for the constant like going downstairs, copying objects and bringing them upstairs. I did that a lot in this build. It's not something that I do a lot, but for some reason I did it so much in this build. I think because I was trying to use the new pack, trying to use like the same things, going with the same style, so I just did that a lot. But yeah, just in case it's a little bit annoying with the camera angles, I do feel like I'm giving you whiplash sometimes, so bear with me. I'm sorry. Do you know a question? This is random, but a question I get asked quite a lot is where I'm from. And I always do say, but I feel like I should say, I am actually from Scotland. A lot of people ask me, they're like, where are you from? Like, what is your accent? I am Scottish, which is funny because in Scotland, I get told that I don't sound Scottish. I get told that I sound very English, which of course still, you know, in Britain, but Scotland's a different area, and people in Scotland talk very differently to people in England. Well, majority of the time. But yeah, I am Scottish. And I've lived here my whole life. But yeah, my mum is actually English, so that's why sometimes I feel like it might be hard to tell if like what I am. But yeah, I am indeed Scottish. I just thought I would say that because a lot of people ask, and yeah, I thought I may as well actually say, because I think it says it like in my bio, but I never talk about it, like I never say, which kind of makes me think maybe I should do a build that's kind of Scottish inspired. There's there's a lot of people that do really amazing like Scottish builds, Scottish castles, things like that. I literally live here. Like, I don't know why I've never done one. I've just never even thought about it. But if that's something you'd want to see, please let me know. I would be more than happy to. I don't know why I've never thought about it. I think because I live here, it just doesn't come to my mind. Whenever I'm building, I'm like, oh, I love to do like American things because I don't live in America. So to me, America is so cool because I'm like, wait, Americans like have this and their buildings look like this and they've got this architecture and like different states have such different vibes. Like my obsession with New Orleans style. Honestly, don't even get me started. I love it so much. One of my favorite styles. But yeah, I guess I just don't think about so much places closer to me, like literally where I live. So yeah, if you ever want me to do specific builds or specific styles, please let me know. I honestly love hearing feedback. It's something that I say a lot, but I genuinely mean it. I love hearing your opinions on things. So yeah, just let me know. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the build that I'm doing now. So we did finish up on the Tattooist apartment and we're now moving on to the Pottery apartment. So this ends up being for two Sims. As I was saying, they are older and they live in here and it's such a cozy vibe. They do have a living room. They have a different floor plan because one, the apartment is a different size, but also I just thought it would be more fun. I thought this will be a little bit more like fun to build and fun to watch as well if I make it different. So I decided to go for a completely different floor plan and I love how this turned out. They have this tiny little kitchen. I love it with all my heart. And then we have this kind of like very small narrow living room, which I thought looks so sweet. They do also have a dining table, which I end up putting in, and then of course they have a bathroom. They do have a smaller bathroom, but I think it works for the space that we have. And then they of course have their bedroom as well, which ends up being so cozy. I end up removing like the big main light that you can see and I end up putting in some like smaller lights that we got off this pack, and I thought it just went together so well. But you can definitely see here the contrast in the two apartments. You can definitely see it downstairs as well, but hopefully you can see what I was getting at with like the boho style. Like they both have a similar kind of look to them, but they're opposite color palettes. And yeah, I just think it turned out so lovely. I really hope that you do like it. Again, if you want to make any changes, please feel free. I'm more than happy for you to do that. Like, I do not mind. But yeah, I just love how this turned out. I ended up using these little dividers from Eco Lifestyle and they went so well with the vibe. Like, it just looks so nice. I love the whole boho style. I will say, I feel like with the medium wall height, you can notice it a little bit more in this apartment than you can other areas of the build, but I still don't think it looks bad. I think it's just because I had a little bit of a flatter wall and a little bit more wall space, so it just kind of ended up turning out that way, but hopefully it's not a big deal. Oh, I completely forgot to mention this. The older couple have a cat. I completely forgot. They do have a cat, possibly two. I was thinking one's a food bowl and one's a water bowl, but if you wanted to have two cats in here, please feel free. I have two cats myself and oh my gosh, they are like my heart and soul. If you know me, you know that I love my cats like more than anyone, more than anything, anyone. Yeah, I would have like all the cats in the world, but then I'm like, I don't know, all my love goes to my two cats, so I'm like, I don't know if I could have more. Like, I could, but at the same time, could I? Anyway, that is just me going off topic. But yeah, you can have one cat, two cat, you can even have a dog, but I just decided cat. There ends up being a litter box in the, what's that called? In the bathroom. So yeah, if you are wondering where that is, that's where it is. But here is the bedroom. As you can see, I added all these little lights. I just thought it looked so sweet. Now, it is a very small bedroom and your Sims will have to use the scoot feature to be able to have two in the one bed. But I think it ended up looking really cute anyway. I think it still looks really nice. You could also rejig this if you really wanted to and have like, I don't know, maybe the bed in the middle. I was just very conscious of the space in here, so I was trying to make it kind of as functional as possible. But yeah, definitely let me know if it's a bit of an issue, or just feel free to move it around yourself. But I thought this was really sweet. It just worked really well for the older couple. And then of course they have their little bathroom as well. And I think that ends up being pretty much it for this build. I don't think I add too much more. I think it is just the bathroom. But please let me know what you thought of this build. I really do hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps me out. Please stay tuned for future videos, because I have a lot more of the save file coming out. I've also got you know, like my every house is a different shape in The Sims 4. I've got hopefully more like post-apocalyptic builds coming out, because you guys seem to really like that, so I really want to get more of those out for you guys, and I've been really enjoying making them. And yeah, hopefully I have some more builds coming out with this pack, which I'm sure I definitely will. But yeah, thank you all so much once again, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!